Hey guys, welcome back to a short video today from Wisbits Random Gaming. And I just want to talk about what the heck is going on with Xbox right now. There's a ton of speculation out there. They've recently laid off their entire physical media department. And that was, as depressing as it is, probably wasn't a big surprise. Xbox, I've always thought, and many have, that they were going to be the first people to go down the non-physical route, not too closely followed by Sony at some point, and I thought it was inevitable. So we've all seen that on the horizon. It's not been confirmed yet. There's supposed to be some sort of announcement next week. But there's lots of crazy stuff going on as well. Like, adding to the rumours now is that Game Pass is going to be a thing of the past. Now, that to me is just as concerning, because I'm a Game Pass user, a member, and I probably don't use it as much as I should, but I do enjoy having the freedom of being able to go in and pick from a library of games, more so with the modern consoles, because I'm not buying as much for the new Xbox and the new PlayStation, the PS5. So I do like having these libraries there. I'm part of the downfall, you might say, of physical media in some sense, even though I do collect. But if that was to happen, I would seriously have to consider what I'm doing with my Series X. I really like the Series X. I think aesthetically it looks a lot better than a PS5. It suits anyone's home better. It does look like a giant PC, yes, we all know that. But what's going to happen to it? So you're no longer going to be offering physical media, if that's the case. Your biggest selling point, Game Pass, is going to be no more, if that's the case. What is the plan, not just for Xbox hold, but for the hardware that we have previously purchased? Now, these weren't cheap devices. They're still not cheap. So I'll be really interested to see what they do with it. Otherwise, it's going to become a very expensive emulation box, depending on what happens with Game Pass. And if that's the case, then I might personally have a look and see what the trading options right now are on a Series X. I'd like to get something from it before it becomes essentially the world's biggest paperweight. I mean, what's everyone else's thoughts out there? I am quite disappointed. I'm an Xbox fan. Didn't really like the first OG Xbox that much. One of my friends had it. I preferred the PS2. Maybe it was just because of the branding. I wasn't really that familiar with PC gaming and Microsoft. So, you know, I don't know. It just never drew me in. And then the Xbox 360 come out a few years later. I wasn't really gaming that much in my life. And I'd sold my PS2, hoping that the PS3 was going to come out soon. That didn't. It got delayed for quite a long while. I bought a brand new DS as when it came out, thinking that might scratch my little gaming itch. It didn't. So I went out, bought a 360 about 2 months after it come out, and it's one of my favourite consoles of all time. It got me back into gaming in a heavy way. So I was rooting for Xbox at this point. You know, I was really wanting to see them do well. I thought everything about 360 was better than the PS3. You know, I don't think the PS3, other than the Blu-ray, had anything over the 360. Then Microsoft went and undone all of that with the Xbox One announcement. And the little hints that was being dropped on the way to it being announced. You know, such as it needs to stay on, needs an internet connection at all times. And that awful plan that they quickly backtracked on, where you could no longer share your games. Now Sony really hit them there. You know, they had no plan on that one. And in quite a rare consumer friendly move, they put out a very cheeky ad where they showed you how to share games, which was literally 2 employees handing the game to one another. Microsoft done a massive backtrack, and I personally feel it's been an uphill struggle for them ever since that time. They have become a lot more consumer friendly than PlayStation. Whether or not that was their intention, we don't know. Or whether or not they had to become more consumer friendly because of the damage they'd done with the launch of the Xbox One. So yeah, we're left with a lot of questions and no answers right now on this one. You know, a huge lack of exclusive titles on the Xbox. You can see clearly a lack of dedication to physical media, and they're not alone in that department. I think the only one that seems to champion it is Nintendo, and I don't mind paying a little bit more on the Switch games at times just to get that physical format. It's nice to have. I do buy digital for the Switch, depending on how cheap the game is compared to the physical version. If there's not much in it, I will go for the physical version every time. So, what do we think is going to happen with Xbox? Apparently next week there's going to be this announcement. I'd like to know your thoughts, your opinions, and what you believe is going to happen with the brand in the next week. Guys, thank you for listening to my ramblings. It's going to be a very interesting time. And yeah, I might have an Xbox Series X for sale if anyone's interested. Take care, guys. See you on the next video.